Hey guys, I'm here today with my review on BlacKkKlansman, or BlacKkKlansman, if you, however you want to say it. I think you just call it BlacKkKlansman. So, uh, the first thing I'm gonna say in this review is this is going to be kind of a political review, but that is unavoidable considering the subject matter of the film. If you want to know my quick thoughts on the film, it is very good. It is not always easy to watch, but it is a good film, and I think you will enjoy it. But be aware, it is very political. Just got to get that out of the way because some people do get do feel like I don't want to get political. I want to escape because you see politics everywhere, and that is true in today's day and age. But I feel that this is an important movie to talk about. So this film was directed by Spike Lee. It's actually the first Spike Lee film that I've ever seen, which is a bit of a shame. I'm gonna see Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X soon. But what's interesting about Spike Lee as a director is this is a director who is not afraid to be unsubtle about his work. He is very blunt and very frank about what he wants his film to be. And a lot of people I could see being turned off by that. But what's so important about this film is that there's a statement that Spike Lee is trying to make. And it's a statement that is important, and he needs to make sure it's blunt and unsubtle because he can't risk anybody missing the statement that he's trying to make. And I feel that it's important to see this film. So, it's based on a true story, or loosely based on a true story. I think, from what I understand, the real true story was even more unbelievable than the story presented in the film, which actually does happen often. But the story is unbelievable either way. And I think even if you told me this was an entirely fictional story, I wouldn't really mind because it does capture a lot of very real things about America and race relations. Um, I'm sorry, I'm stammering a lot. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. These reviews are not scripted. So, the film stars John David Washington, the son of Denzel Washington, and a very good actor in his own right. Adam Driver also working alongside him. Very good performances, and I'd say the entire cast. No one in this movie is like going for a big Oscar or has the big scene. A lot of the performances feel very true to life, very understated, especially given the source material. I feel that you can see the emotion and feel the emotion within their eyes. It's a very well directed film. And also the editing can be different because they will cut back and forth between two different scenes, often in completely different time frames, and sometimes even scenes taking place in the same time frame will have editing. It will cut to itself repeatedly, or there will be simple continuity errors. And I think that a lot of that was intentional. It certainly adds to the atmosphere and tone of the film. But okay, so this is the part where things are going to get a little bit political. So, this movie, it's presenting the two main characters played by John David Washington and Adam Driver. The two main characters in this movie are very moderate, is how I would say. Even though both characters are good people, they don't lean too heavily towards one. In the sense that, okay, this is gonna sound weird and this is kind of hard to say, but we see in this film the group of Black Power and the group sort of the Black Lives Matter group, even though it wasn't called that at the time. And we have you have Laura Harrier's character being someone who is so dedicated towards the movement, and she is so dedicated to her beliefs that it's actually becoming a little bit of a character flaw in her. And we see how these people allow their beliefs to just take over. And the film does a very good job of juxtaposing these beliefs alongside the KKK, who I saw one review saying that the depiction of the KKK is very cartoonish and not true to life, which I wouldn't really know. I've never met a Klansman in real life. I hope. But I I feel that you kind of have to portray them the way that this film did, in that when you see the Klansmen, it's clear that they are terrible human beings, but they're also human beings. You understand that there is a little bit of humanity in them, and that is almost frightening in and of itself. But when you compare it to Laura Harrier's character, and you can see the Black Power movement versus the White Power movement, how they say that extreme heat and extreme cold can sometimes feel the same. I know, because I've been on Twitter, sometimes extreme alt-left views and extreme alt-right views can almost feel the same. Like, it's just so fueled with hate, you can barely tell who's on which side anymore. And I feel that's what this film shows most of all. Even though clearly one side is more right than the other, both sides are a lot more similar than either one of them care to admit. And sometimes we have to face the hard truth that we're all just human beings, and if there's a way to peace, we have to be willing to really examine things. We see John David Washington's character, and we see Adam Driver's character. They're forced in a position where they're literally forced into the shoes of their enemy, and they have to accept this other person's worldview. And they say that you can never really understand a person unless you've seen the world from their eyes. And I'm not saying, now don't freak out, I'm not saying I sympathize with the Klansmen. That's not what this movie is. It's about pointing out that we're all humans, that we're all flawed, and the human beings we hate a lot of times we can be very close to them. And the film does something very powerful at the end, where they juxtapose the events of this story with real life events that are happening today. And today, when you turn on the news, how a lot of this hatred in America sadly has not gone away, and something needs to be done about it. And I feel that I don't know if this movie is going to change too many people's minds on either side, but I feel that it is important for people to watch. This is not always going to be an easy to watch film. It's Spike Lee, and it's the KKK, and you're going to see, you're going to hear the N-word spoken a million times, and you're going to see violence and cruelty towards African Americans, and it's not an easy watch. But it is a powerful watch. I don't know if this movie is going to have a big Oscar footprint, if it's going to get nominated for a bunch of awards, but it is a very, very good film, and I think it's a film I will remember at the end of the year. As someone who is not that familiar with Spike Lee's filmography, it does seem like a very, very good film. I feel like this will probably join the ranks of one of his best, because I understand he's made a lot of films that are not as memorable in his filmography. My throat is getting sore. I'm going to finish this up. BlacKkKlansman is a very good film, and I would recommend that anyone watch it. It's not always easy to watch, but if you've listened to this review, and you should probably be able to tell whether or not this movie is for you. So, very good film. A bit hard to watch at times, but I recommend you check it out. Okay, that's the review.